What's up, good people of YouTube? It's me, Chavez, back with another NBA player prop video for you. Today is November 13th, 2023. As always, I hope this video finds you doing well and in good spirits. Listen up. Here's what we're covering in today's video. We're going to recap our plays from Friday. No videos done over the weekend, although I did give out picks in the free player prop Discord. We'll talk about those as well, and then we're going to brush up on some injury news. Not a ton of names to read over, but we got to make sure that we're on the same page with the NBA when it comes to news. And lastly, we are going to switch up the format a little bit. We are going to take a look at the Prizepicks board for all 4 games today. Smaller slate, so I wanted to try something new. I got plays for each game that I want to just show you, and then I'll save my 2 picks for today. So I have 2 plays that I'll be playing in a slip or 2, but I do want to go over just some plays from each game that are standing out to me as to give you some options. So if all that sounds good, stick around, drop a like, sub up, and click the notification icon. That way you're notified of all upcoming content and videos from me and my channel. And without further delay, let us get into our recap from Friday. Okay, starting off with this Chet Holmgren prop of 9.5 rebounds and assists. Looked like it was going to get done, and then it didn't get done. He ends the game with 8 rebounds and assists, 7 rebounds and 1 assist. Very disappointing performance from him. Just thought because of the matchup, the game environment, we'd see a little bit more out of Chet, but that was not the case. Moving over to LaMelo Ball's points prop. This one was a little high. However, it was one that I felt he could definitely get the over on. Good history versus Washington. Good game environment, facing a team he just faced and dropped 34 on. However, he ends the game with 25. Just an atrocious start to the game. He was something terrible, like 1 for 10 from the field going into the half. Did turn it on in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Really hoping for some overtime in this game because that would have really helped. He missed this by 1 3-pointer. Missed a lot of shots early in the game. So you just got to ask yourself, had he been able to knock down a couple of those at the beginning of the game, you know, do we get the over on our line? I think the answer is yes, but the reality is he did not get it done. So 25 points is what he landed on, and that serves us a big fat L. Derek White rebound prop set to 3.5, then got bumped up to 4. Still like the over on this one. He ends up pushing this line. Just shows you how crucial those bumps are. Had we played this, had we been able to get to it at 3.5, we would have got the over on this one. But Derek White has shown us 5, 6, 7 rebound upside in some games. So taking the over on the 4 rebound prop didn't seem too crazy to me. He pushed it, would have gotten the over had we got it at 3.5, but that's how it goes sometimes. All right, saving the best for last, I guess. Joel Embiid gets the over on his points, ends the game with 33 points. So nothing much more to say. I will say that he did start off the game on an equally bad note. You know, we talk about LaMelo Ball also starting off pretty poorly, but he was just as bad as LaMelo Ball starting off the game. But unlike LaMelo Ball, he was able to turn it around and get the over for us. So there was a point in time on Friday where it did look like all these plays were going to hit. Embiid was trending towards the over. LaMelo Ball was heating up. We had Derek White get the push for us, and we were going into that last game needing Chet Holmgren to get the over. So it was very, very close to going into that final game of the night. 2-0-1, two overs and 1 push. However, LaMelo Ball wasn't able to come through. Later, we learned that Chet Holmgren doesn't come through, and what that looks like for us is a 1-2 day, 1-2-1 on the day. Just a bad day, just a bad day with our props. And then in terms of the weekend props, no videos given out, but I gave out quite a few picks in the free player prop Discord. Just, you know what? Trying to get these plays out super early in the morning when they're put on the board has not been working out for me. A lot of scratches, and honestly, just a lot of plays aren't hitting. PJ Washington, Denny Avdija, Killian Hayes rebound props don't hit. Herb Jones gets scratched. Markelle Fultz gets scratched. Yeah, so trying to keep the player props coming, but you know, sometimes it feels like when you got to jump on the board and you're gonna get there before the bumps happen and all that stuff, it kind of doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, these players still have to perform and they still have to go out there and do their part. So all the research in the world cannot make up for that. But we got to move on. We move on to a new day with new plays to go over. Before we get into all that jazz, let's go over some injury news in the NBA for today, November 13th. Okay, like I mentioned, very short injury list here. Dame is in. Questionable was OG, Gary Trent, Sam Merrill. De'Aaron Fox is doubtful. Don't believe he's playing. And then we got Jay Crowder, Okoro, and Trey Lyles all out. So not as many names as we've seen in the past few days. This could change over the course of the day. So make sure that you are glued to the updates. Make sure you are up to speed on everything that's going on in the NBA. All right, so I said we're switching up the format a little bit. I want to go over each game quickly, just show you some plays that I like. We're not going to break these down. I am going to break down 2 plays at the end of this segment of the video, but for now, we're just going to go through each game, and I'm going to show you plays that are standing out to me. So from this Boston-New York game, I like the over on points for White. Porzingis over fantasy. White here for fantasy as well, because if you like his points, fantasy also looks really good, and those two correlate well together if you were going to build multiple slips. Going back to the well on Mitchell Robinson, 23.0 fantasy points is a little too low for him versus this much improved Boston team. However, still giving up mad production to the big men in the paint. So that's what's standing out to me from this Boston Knicks game. Moving into the Toronto Wizards game, Kuzma rebounds looks good to me. Schroeder PRA looks good to me. Scotty Barnes points did get bumped from 19.5 to 20.5, but we all know where this offense is going. We all know where this offense is coming from on the Raptors. It starts with Scotty Barnes, so 20.5 is not a vicious bump. But if you are afraid of the bumps, then definitely stay away from that one. All right, going into the Milwaukee-Chicago game, I don't believe there are any Chicago props on the board, at least when I checked. 3 plays that I like: Lopez over his threes, Lopez over his points. These two correlate very well together. And then Malik Beasley over on his points. Really, this one is basically due to Jay Crowder being ruled out. So I expect Malik Beasley to just be a little bit more involved in the offense. I said 11.5 points. Actually, it's 11.5 points and rebounds. And I believe that he can get the over on this in just points alone. So a little lower of a line that we're seeing for Malik Beasley here. And last game, we got the Kings and Cavs, like the over on Herter's rebounds, points for Sabonis, rebounds for Sabonis, fantasy for Garland, 11.5 rebounds and assist for Evan Mobley, and 15.5 points and rebounds for Max Strus. Kevin Herter is seeing some massive juice on all his props after that crazy ass game he had versus the Thunder. I think he scored something like 58 fantasy points. So we're seeing heavy bumps in all his lines based off of that performance. The rebounds was the only line that stood out to me as one that was playable. And then Domantas Sabonis continues to be the focal point, playing much better this go around without De'Aaron Fox. I know we talk about last year when Fox was out, how Domantas Sabonis kind of wasn't able to, shoulder the load. A little different this season, playing much better in the absence of De'Aaron Fox. So those are some plays that are standing out to me for that final game. All right, so I got 2 plays that I'll be sharing with you. What we're going to do here is I'm going to show you what the plays are. I'm going to tell you what I like, and then we're going to head over to props.cash, and we're going to go over both of these plays at the same time. So no bankhead bouncing back and forth. I want to show you these slides, show you who I like, and then we're going to spend the rest of the video over on props.cash. All right, let's do it. First play that I want to talk about is Kristaps Porzingis. You saw him as one of the player props that I liked for this Celtics-Knicks game. 33.5 fantasy points for him. I like the over on this one. The next play, Darius Garland, another fantasy point prop, 33.0 versus the Kings. I also like the over on this one. All right, we're going to start with Darius Garland over here on Prizepicks. So I just want to show you what his lines are for today. And then we're going to do some quick math, and we're going to add up everything. So first, let's look at his points set to 19.5. Slight juice for the over here. I think 19 points is a fair number to project here. We look at his rebounds set to 2.5. We got heavy juice on the over, so 3 rebounds. Looks like it is in his future here. 3 times 1.2 is 3.6. 3.6 plus 19, 22.6. Then we look at his assist. Slight juice to the under here, so maybe looking closer to 6 versus 7. Now, 6 assists equals 9 points. We got 9 points plus 3 rebounds. That's 12.6. 12.6 plus 19 points is 31.6. And then we look at his steals and blocks. Nice juice the over here. That's an additional 6 points if you look at these odds. So 31.6 plus 6 is 37.6. Now, this is where it's going to get dicey, okay? We're looking at 37.6 fantasy points right now. We're looking at his projection of over 3.5 turnovers here. If he turned the ball over 4 or more, based off the math we have now, it would be under. However, if he's able to keep the turnovers down, he's going over his fantasy line. If he's able to get us 20 or more points in this game, or an extra assist or an extra rebound, he is going over his fantasy score. So really, all dependent on whether or not Darius Garland can keep the turnovers down. If he can do so, we're getting the over on this one. All right, moving on over to Kristaps Porzingis, looking at 18.5 points here. Kind of a coin flip. Let's say he gets us 18 points today. 18 points, starting us off. Looking at juice to the under on his rebounds. He is capable of getting us more than 7 rebounds, just like he showed us versus this Knicks team back in late October, first game of the year. Got us 8 rebounds. But for the sake of this video and looking at the odds, I want to be very conservative with this breakdown. 7 rebounds, that's 8.2 fantasy points, plus the 18, that's 26.2 fantasy points. Looking at his assist, 3 looks like it's a strong possibility here versus the Knicks, but we can even say that 2. Let's just be a little safer and say 2 assists is what he gets us today. Now that's 3 fantasy points. 3 fantasy points plus his 8.2 is 11.2 fantasy, plus the 18, that's 29.2 fantasy points. Steals and blocks. Based off these odds, it looks like 3 steals and blocks is in his future. So that's an additional 9 points. So right there, we're looking at, close to 40 fantasy points right there. Minus his turnovers, not as high as Darius Garland's, but 2 turnovers, is definitely possible for Kristaps. So once the turnovers are subtracted from his total, we're still looking at over 33.5 fantasy points for Kristaps Porzingis. I do want to show you this. I don't like always going by these game logs versus the opponent, but this is just a lot of production. So we have 1 game with the Celtics, 3 games with the Wizards that he's gone over points. So 4 for 4 in those head-to-head matchups. Rebounds look good with an upside of 11. Assists look fine with an upside of 5. Steals and blocks also look good with an upside of 4. This was done first game of the year. So there is just a lot to like here for Porzingis versus the Knicks. He's done it to him this season already. He did it to him last season as a Wizard on a much all-around bad team the Wizards had last year. So upside is high for both Porzingis and Garland today, and I like the over on both of their fantasy points. Just give you a few reasons as to why I like the overs. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring our video to a close. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by the channel, checking this video out. Consider subscribing to the channel. Consider dropping a like, clicking that bell icon, drop a comment, let me know what you like on the board, as well as your thoughts on these props. Consider sharing this video, sharing this channel with somebody you know. A little bit of a longer video, but we covered a lot. We went through all 4 games, and I gave you 2 plays that I like for today's 4-game slate. Listen, no matter what you roll with today, my props, your own props, I hope whatever you're doing, whatever props you like, I hope they all respect the damn coin. Best of luck to you all should you tail any of my plays. And until the next NBA player prop video, Chavez is